So much of the work that's done during the war we don't hear about, and that's done on purpose. It's a secret for a reason. Jessica Van Horssen is a Canadian historian at McMaster University in Hamilton. You specialize kind of like in the hidden history of things. We're going to talk about women from Canada who worked very secretly during the Second World War.
Absolutely, and this is something that even historians didn't know about for quite some time, and it was only really revealed maybe 5 years ago that these women were integral to shortening the war, ending the war, and helping sustain the Allied effort in Europe and in the Pacific.
So many people may have heard of the Wrens in England, and this was basically, we call them Wrens in Canada as well.
Yes, it was the Women's Royal Canadian Naval Service, but because that's a hard acronym to shorten, Wrens, because we were connected to that larger Wren network in Britain, in America, in all of the Commonwealth, and so we did have a very strong contingent of Wrens.
And these were like sometimes very young women, very unassuming. They could not even tell their families what they were doing. But what were they doing?
Well, initially they were all trained for home defense in case something happened in Canada. The German U-boats came up the St. Lawrence and decided to take root here. But then they were brought into more of the secret intelligence world because no one would suspect a woman, an 18-year-old woman, for example. And you would be tapped on the shoulder, you would be sent by train to Nova Scotia or to New Brunswick. Moncton had a very secret base there as well, and you would listen. You would listen for U-boat activity, you would listen for transmissions from the enemy. If you were on the Pacific, Victoria had a very strong base of these sorts of secret intelligence women's roles, and you'd be listening for Japanese transmissions then, and you'd be coding, decoding, and sending it off, hoping that what you did was right and that it would save people's lives.
And it did, and yet we never hear of them just because of the fact of the secrecy. And they were told never, ever tell.
Exactly. And they would be, it was, corporal punishment, that you would be threatened with the death penalty if you told, because it was really secret. And the Second World War especially was a war of secrets. That it was all of this covert activity going on under the scene, and you were a part of that. And how exciting, how connected. It was really, really important work.
And it was only up until about 2019 that they could actually talk. And by then, you said some did talk, but it was on their deathbeds.
It was on their deathbeds, and some had, this is a suitcase of all of my memories. And they shared that with their families for the first time, and suddenly you're looking at your grandmother in shock. Look what grandma did during the war. I thought you were just bringing tea to people. And it was this huge reckoning with our past, the revealing of what women did on the home front to help the war. There's this idea that women just, we farmed or we worked in factories, which is very important work as well. But the fact that this was so connected to Bletchley Park in the UK and a whole global network to help keep the Allied forces safe is amazing to suddenly find out. And the women themselves are, no, we just did a little thing. They're very humble about their contribution, but I think it's about time they were recognized fully for what they did and how they shortened the war by at least 2 years. And that is tremendous, because 2 years of war, that's a lot of life, that's a lot of happiness, that's a lot of well-being, and that is significant.
How do we get that story out?
We're doing it right now.
Yes. So where, is there a spot where people can go for more information on this, to learn more?
Books are now just being released about this, and the CBC has some good documentaries short documentaries about these women who were honored in 2019 by the Canadian government, and so there's some ceremonies that you could watch online and things like that.
Okay.
But go to your library.
Listen to your historians.
Listen to your historians. Yes. We know things.
Okay, thank you, Jessica, for sharing what you know.